You guys are just forming as the Watchdogs, but you've been the Watchdogs for quite some time.
Well, they started calling us watchdogs because we were watching and reporting on things, and they thought it was, I think there was people thought it was we'd object to what being called watchdogs. Frankly, we loved it.
Right.
Sister Mary Jo said she not only loved the name, she loved the mission of being a watchdog. And so it's kind of based on that we decided let's get an organization going and let other people join in and keep an eye on what's going on here so it isn't just happening, because frankly, believing everything they tell you they're doing is not in the best interest of Butte. One thing that Butte Watchdogs wants to do is pay attention to the details, pay attention to what's being said and what's real and what isn't real, and call them on the BS when it's BS. If they do something right, that's good too. Right now, we have the opportunity to urge citizens to comment on the lead cleanup plan. That lead cleanup plan is set up by the EPA, their proposal, after having discussions with local government and discussions with state government, and obviously I think discussions with BP, although I couldn't validate that for sure. But after having discussions, they say, well, we've been 32 years since they started doing this cleanup stuff, and we haven't got much done. But now they think they need another 25 to 30, maybe 40 years to finish it. Well, my grandkids will have grandkids by then. This is not the way it should be. So there's an opportunity now for us to urge the citizens of Butte. Comment during this comment period till February. The main thing is get to change this time frame. Get it cleaned up right, but get it cleaned up quickly.
And it's, the side agreement with Butte Silver Bow and BP, the allocation agreement, that's not under CERCLA. That's where, lack of a better term, Butte Silver Bow agreed to be the contractor to do this. And the men and women who work for the Army have done a great job. Any other community, that doesn't happen. You don't have, the local government isn't agreeing to be liable for one. The other side is, Omaha, Nebraska is one because it's just glaring, and Omaha actually, everything is out there, access letters, decision letters, sampling results for the yards and houses. They're public. You can go pick an address and see the history of the whole thing.
Wow.
And Butte, if we go ask our courthouse or EPA, we've been told it's covered by HIPAA. It's not, Department of Health and Human Services will tell you about DA at the federal level, and Department of Justice, just to be sure. It's not, but they'll put that in emails. We can't give you the soil information because it's covered by HIPAA, and it's not. Realtors can get it. They're also not covered by HIPAA, but it's all hidden. So all these things, where every place else, you look at Omaha, for instance, thousands of yards a year. EPA tells us, well, it's different there. You bet it is. A lot of things different. There's always unique things on the state, but what isn't,
Right.
Bringing in contractors, and there's contractors who mobilize all over the country, every other site. You can find them with some search. Now EPA does make the information hard to get. It's hard to navigate, but spend a little time, you can start finding these. We started our residential cleanup in 1992, and we were always told it was unique and a model and all this, and boy, there's plenty that predate, 1992 that were starting multi-pathway programs. I think they just started saying that before the internet, so, we would just take it at face value. But, there are unique features to it. Not gonna dispute that. They do a good job, but we've already waited for 32 years for cleanup and what we've known. And there wasn't some magic barrier built around Butte that contained aerial emissions. They've also known that. EPA's funded studies. They funded studies on bioavailability that also aren't included in our administrative record. We have unicorn lead here, they've tried to convince us. No scientist anywhere ever buys that. So, that now they've plugged in new numbers, updates to the IEBUK, the program that they use to calculate the risk. I don't know what those are. I see that British Petroleum's law firm and another industrial law firm have submitted a lot of FOIAs to try to find that out. Hopefully the rest of us can get clued in on that. But, we just want science. We want fair. if they can do thousands of yards a year in Nebraska and everywhere else, I mean, we can do a few more than 50 a year. Well, I mean, that's it. We want fair. And the people do. You know, when you start thinking about it, okay, 32 years, how many children have been exposed? And they say, well, we prioritize children. EPA will say that. No, we do it a little backwards here, where everybody else goes out and they clean it up. And they do testing to make sure the cleanup is effective. We wait for a kid to come in and show high for lead and say, oh, God, we better go look at that and see what's causing it and then clean it up. The kids are already exposed. And then the people who don't call for testing or go into the WIC office or anything like that,
Right.
we have no way of knowing. They were exposed. I mean, we have all kinds of health indicators in the community. The St. James Community Health Study. I mean, we have some very prevalent disorders in this community that are abnormally high. They focused on cancer and things like that. And, you know, we've had them try EPA and BP and Butte Silver Bow. They've tried to debunk those, and that, you know, fine. But, you know, they don't talk about our elevated rates of heart disease, Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, things like that. And I mean, the excuse, well, people in Butte eat worse than anywhere else. It's just not true. Well, you know, speaking of Great Falls, you know, EPA proposes they want to test 640 yards a year. You know, that's what they're going to need. That's why it's going to take 15 years to test. There's a contractor on the ground in Great Falls, just a couple of weeks ago, their contractor tested 70 yards. So what they need 15 years to do here, or
70 yards in
a day.
a day.
Wow.
And, you know, I mean, there's differences in labs and stuff, and who insists that we, you know, do things and ship to BP's preferred lab in another state, all that. I mean, that's EPA's allowing it, so it's EPA's fault, not BP's.
Right.
Their job is to not spend money. EPA's job is to make it done right. And if they want to let it happen, okay. But, you know, if the Black Eagle site in Great Falls can have a contractor that figured out how to do it a lot more efficiently, maybe we need that guy, you know, because we could do what they're proposing to do in Butte in a year. It'll take him less than 10 days.
To reiterate some of the key things about Butte Watchdogs, is there's a lot of watching to be done. Right now the focus is on lead. It's on cleaning it up right. Fix the plan. Clean it up right and clean it up fast. That's very important. Very important people to know. They need to reach out and submit their comments to EPA to strengthen the request to shorten this time frame. They also should go to ButteWatchdogs.org, and they can hook up with our website and become a supporter of Butte Watchdogs. And we'll continue to refine information and make it available to people. We're a small but interesting group right now. We hope to be a bigger but interesting group in the future.
Yeah, and we hope to be, you know, factual information with primary documents, things like that, because we're not getting that from 3 levels of government.